Okay, so boom, you want to start a podcast. The very first thing you need to do is go to anchor.fm and download the Anchor app. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free $99. You can record from a computer or you can record directly from your phone, and it sounds amazing recording from your phone. Anchor is equipped with creation tools that allow you to edit your audio and even add sound effects. They will distribute your podcast on many platforms such as like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Best of all, you can monetize. Just as I'm recording this here sponsorship, you can do the exact same thing. And you can get a couple of coins every time someone listens to your podcast. So how cool is that? So go to anchor.fm or go to your favorite app store, download the Anchor app, and get started today. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Hey, Autumn. It is Jay from Jay's Quick 3, and I just wanted to say congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. That is a big deal. I think your show is dope. I love listening to it, and I just want to say congratulations. So here's to many more of Lit Life podcast, and I can't wait to hear more. Peace.
Okay, good evening. Just want to say what's up to everyone and hope you are enjoying the Lit Life podcast, one of the greatest podcasts out there. I normally like to listen to gangster rap with misogyny and some hardcore jazz, but the young lady, Autumn, she put me onto her podcast, and I'm glad I've never gone back. She truly is a beautiful person inside and out. One of the sweetest voices out there, very calming, very soothing. You need to listen. It's a great show, especially the Shut the Fuck Up Award. I don't know if I can curse on this part, but I already did, so if you gotta censor it, censor it. Autumn, keep going. Great topics out there, and looking forward to listening to more. Love you. Peace.
Hey Autumn, it's Audrey and Caden. Wanted to say hey and congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. You know I love your podcast. I love your energy, vibes, everything. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to see what else you come up with. We'll catch you later. Say bye.
Bye.
She do what she wanna do. She do what she wanna do. Ooh. She do what she wanna do.
She do what she wanna do. Lower to the grave, tell you like it is to your face. She don't play. Aries chick down for it all. Know that she a boss. No competition, no loss. From the Midwest to the A, Autumn got you tuning in, no delay. Ooh, get you right every time. Keep you laughing on a dime. Tell you truth, no lies. So you can live your best life. Cover all topics, no limits. Got something for your mama and your children, no holding back. No gimmicks, coming on strong, get straight to business. Oh yeah.
What she wanna do.
Lit life, lit life.
She do what she wanna do.
Lit life, lit life,
She
lit
do
life.
what she wanna do.
Lit life, lit life,
She
lit
do
life.
what she wanna do.
Lit life, lit life, lit life. Lit life, lit life.
Hey, it's your girl Autumn, and I welcome you back to the Lit Life podcast, where I encourage you to live your life autonomously. So, welcome back. And if it's your first time listening, thank you for tuning in. This is a very special episode for me, as it is my 1 year podcast anniversary. So I actually dropped my first solo podcast on May 2nd, 2019. And I honestly can't believe I'm here. Like, I honestly can't believe that I'm still doing this. And I know a year isn't really that long, but I didn't really know what was going to happen here. Like, I just kind of took a leap out on faith and ended up being very invested, not necessarily monetarily, but just time wise and and with all the research that I've done, and just literally enjoying podcasting. So today's episode is going to actually be really short because let me just keep it 100. First of all, it's 7:15, and I think it's 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony are about to battle on IG tonight, so I'm gonna need to see that. I think that's at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I gotta hurry up and get this done so I can do that. Also, I wasn't gonna do an extra long episode or an episode that was of normal length today because next week I am having my first live show. So like I'm excited about that. And technically it's not the first time that I've gone live on, like Facebook or IG or whatever. And as a matter of fact, I did a live review with my good friend Lovey Dovey. So that was pretty awesome. But this is actually my first, this will be my first actual live show of just the actual Lit Life podcast. So I'm really excited about it. I have some of the dopest podcast sisters that's going to join me. I have Audrey from the All Tales Pod. I have Chris from Shenanigans with Friends. And I have Tamara from Tamara to the Break of Dawn podcast. And if you guys follow us on Twitter, you'll know and you'll see that we kind of cut up with each other daily. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be pretty funny. I don't even know. I mean, I have a couple of topics or whatever that I've put together, but I just have a feeling that all of that's going to go out the door. So I welcome you all to come and join us on Facebook Live and from the Lit Life podcast page. And I'll also be live on Twitter via Periscope. So hopefully, you guys will all tune in. So that's that on that. Real quick, I mean, I guess I might as well, go ahead and do a Shut the Fuck Up award. Shut the fuck up. Goddamn, nigga. So just a little bit ago, probably about an hour ago, I got a text from a friend of mine with a screenshot. And, can we, I think that I'm going to go ahead and this might be one of the topics on the live show. So I'm not going to really get into it, get all the way into it, but can we stop with the King of R&B takes? Can we stop with that? Because there's so many who say that they're the King of R&B. I mean, so many, and a whole lot of them are not even in the arena. Like they're not even really there. So the latest, and again, I'm not gonna get into everybody that said everything because I kind of want to talk about it next week on the live, but the next person to throw their hat into the ring was Mario, the singer Mario. Now, I love me some Mario. I remember seeing him in concert. He came to Toledo, Ohio. They had like a free concert at Ottawa Park one year, and my son loved him some Mario. So like braid my hair, like that was his jam. And just a friend. Oh my God! Like I'm sitting here picturing him, my son, dancing to Just a Friend after we waited all these hours for Mario to be there, and my son had actually fallen asleep in the park and everything. I mean, it was just crazy. But I know, yes, I feel like Mario has some pipes. You know what I'm saying? He will drop the vocals off. And has some excellent writing skills, and he's actually a decent actor as well, But I cannot. We can't call you the king. We can't do that. So, I mean, I don't even really want to say shut the fuck up, but I'm gonna just give you like a associate shut the fuck up award for that, because I'm and I also want to say there's nothing at all wrong with believing that you are the best thing on this earth, because that really, we have to walk in those shoes. But I mean, I'm just, it's not, this ain't that. So anyways, moving along. Again, it's my 1 year podcast anniversary. I really just wanted to, initially I was gonna kind of like revisit some of the episodes and give y'all some clips, but guess what? I had like literally like an hour and a half of sleep. It's just not gonna happen. So this is one of those things that I'm just gonna have to make up to you guys later. But I do want to say, first and foremost, thank you to, and I did not write my thank yous down. I should have, but I didn't. First and foremost, thank you to everyone that has supported me in this journey. When I decided to go out and start this podcast, initially I didn't even tell like my friends, like my close friends, my closest friends. I didn't tell them. I still don't really know why, but it took me several episodes of kind of putting the podcast out there and like getting on Twitter and kind of tapping into the podcast community and having people listen to it. And I don't know, maybe it's because I really just value value their opinions. And but to start things off, like I have to give a shout out to all the people who didn't know me, who didn't know Autumn the Aries from, anything or anyone. And they took a chance and said, you know what, let me press play and listen to this girl's podcast, and ended up liking it. I have several people that listen to the podcast weekly. They give me feedback. They live tweet through it, all that good stuff. And all of that to me is awesome support. So everybody who's doing that, all of you guys who have taken the time to just listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if this is the first time you're listening to an episode of the Lit Life podcast, I really and truly appreciate you. I can't say that enough. And then to my friends, who, after again several episodes, I came to them and I know some of them probably were like, why didn't you just tell us from jump? We would have supported you. And it's not a matter of y'all not supporting me. It's just, I just wanted to do this and get it out there and just get some other feelers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can't really explain why. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. I want to thank all the people who've been a guest on my podcast. So I think my very first guest, I'm looking through my list. Let's see here. My very first guest, actually, my very first guest, it was two guests, and two of my very best friends, Lovey Dovey and Ribbon, and they were a guest on the hedonism episodes that everybody loves so much. Episode, let me see, they were episode 11.1. So there were two episodes. That's why I named them that way. But shout out to them. Like, we were able to sit sit on the beach right by the water as the sun was setting, listening to the waves crash, and talk about our experience so far. I think we had been in Jamaica for maybe a day or two at that point, and we were able to talk about it, and it was just wonderful. And I'm so very happy that I was able to share those memories and share that experience with them. So there are two of my most listened to episodes. The top two most listened to episodes are episode 11.1 and 11.2. So if you haven't heard those episodes, y'all make sure that y'all take a listen. And I love you girls. I know that you both of y'all kind of like, y'all don't listen every week, y'all kind of binge listen, and that's perfectly okay. I love y'all, both of y'all, like from the bottom of my heart. Two of my best friends, two of my biggest supporters, two women who have literally held me down over the last few years with a lot of different things that I've gone through. And although we're not, and I'm getting choked up, y'all, let me chill. Although we're not in the same state, I just want to let y'all know that if y'all were here, like if we all were in the same state, we would be tearing this shit down every weekend. So maybe it's just not a good idea. But and we didn't get to smoke free weekend in April, but hopefully, we'll still, all three of us will still be able to go in July. So I love y'all. Next, I'm pretty sure y'all can hear that this time for real, like, because I have my window open, so y'all know I live by the Air Force Base. Anyways, who was my next guest? My next guest was the pod OG himself, Black Paco. Shout out to Black Paco. So Black Paco came to me on a couple of occasions, and I'm pretty trash, right? People have been, still to this day, people are asking me to be on the show, and I just haven't gotten back around to getting with them and getting schedules together. So hopefully season 3, I can get people on who have been asking to get on, like Chris, me and Chris, we're supposed to do we have an actual topic that we're going to talk about. So Chris, I got to get you on here, even though you're going to be on my live next week, but still, we got to get you on that solo episode. Penrose Eames, I have not forgot about you, brother. I am going to get you on this podcast. I don't know when, but I'm gonna get you on here. I think who else? I think Glow from Conversations with Glow. I think she's asked to be on. I mean, there's been a few different people that I haven't been able to get on, and I promise I'm gonna get you guys on. But back to Black Paco. Black Paco, he just didn't stop asking. He was like, hey, I'm trying to be on your show. Like, let me come on, we can do this. And I think Paco has been on the show 3 times. He's supposed to be a recurring guest, but everything has just been so crazy these last couple of months. So I haven't been able to get Paco back on. But hopefully next month I'll be able to get Paco back on, because everybody loves Black Paco. And so from the bottom of my heart, Paco, I truly admire all that you're doing in the podcast community. I love the fact that you and Penrose are actively trying to bring everybody together on some real shit. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to fellowship and wanting everybody to win, and really, I honestly appreciate you guys. So make sure you guys check out their podcast. It's the We Got the Draws podcast, and it's hilarious. So shout out to Black Paco. Who else was on the show? Let's see. I'm scrolling down. I had I've had Audrey from Odd Tales Pod on my podcast twice so far, and she's gonna be on the live next week. So Audrey, we did an episode about raising black kids, or not black kids, but black boys, basically, because she has 3 boys, I have 1 boy, and we did such an adorable episode. It was just like, it was amazing, just talking to her about her children, and just like the similarities that we've had trying to raise these young men. It was such a delight to have her on. And then some months later, she was in Atlanta, passing through Atlanta on her way to somewhere else, and came through the studio, because y'all know my spare bedroom / office is now also my studio. So she came through to the stew. I went on ahead and smoked her out, and we had such a great time. So when you guys get a chance, if you have not heard the episodes from that have me and Audrey, it's episode 22, Bruh, Did You Even Put Deodorant On? And the other one is episode 30, Trash Life Tales Pod. Like, it was really trash, but it was so funny. So shout out to Audrey. I feel like we've become friends. We are like these procrastinators. Like, we're similar in so many different ways, and I don't know. I'm just so glad that I've been able to meet you. And I'm also glad that you're only like 4 hours away, because when outside opens up, hopefully we'll be able to actually link a little, link more than we have been able to. I'm really proud of you for sticking it out, like with school and everything, even though, you not hitting send on that project until 11:59, when it's due at midnight, but it's all good. I'm gonna push you to continue to do what you need to do to become the best nurse that you're gonna be, and we're gonna stick together with this whole like running thing, because she's trying to get back running, and I just appreciate you, sis. Like, real talk. So who else has been on the Lit Life podcast? Oh, my next guest, and I think, yes, my next guest my sis, my good sis, my soror, my brunching partner, even though we ain't been to no brunch yet. My blogging sis. You know what I'm saying? We don't like the same snacks all the time, but it's all good. Brandy, Miss Brandy Dawson on Twitter, of Be Positive Media. So Brandy has probably been on about 3 or 4 episodes. Let's see. She's been episode 25. That's SOS. Are we really putting this on the air? I think that was the first one, and it's exactly what the title says. Episode 27, Free the Reefers, exactly what that says. I feel like there's another one she was on with me, and I can't think of what it is yet. But anyways, and I've been on her live stream. She still has not, and I'm gonna get on her ass, because she still has not actually published her podcast episode, so I'm gonna need her to step that up. But aside from that, I miss you, sis. We've been in quarantine, and it's been so whack not being able to get with you on a weekly basis like we had been doing. But soon enough, everything will clear up as best as it can, and we'll get back to those things. But I really appreciate you. I appreciate all of your feedback. I appreciate you for wanting me to do my best, sending me all types of podcasting articles and resources. She's like coupon queen. Like, she just wants everybody, or people in her circle, to win, and I can appreciate that. So love you, sis. I get to see you soon. And let's see, I Who else? Oh, next guest, one of my absolute favorite podcasts. I can't even remember exactly how I came across his podcast. Oh wait, I gotta go back. I'll go back in a second because I almost skipped one of my absolute faves as well. But one of my absolute favorite podcasts. I say this all the time. Like, it's the 12 Kyle podcast hosted by 12 Kyle here in Atlanta, and he does like a hip hop, like a 90s hip hop, or late 80s early 90s hip hop and R&B, and he talks a little bit about sports. Like, he talks about timeless kind of things that are kind of timeless. So you can, when you listen to his podcast, it could be 2020 or it could be 2045, and the things that he's talking about in his podcast are basically still relevant, which is one thing that I've tried to do with my own podcast. Like, I always want people to be able to turn my podcast on and not feel like they're lost in time or anything like that. So shout out to 12 Kyle, man. He came on my podcast and helped me do a review of In Effect Mode by I'll Be Sure. And I just want to say to you, 12 Kyle, thank you for helping me to step out on that side of things, because initially when I started this podcast, I wanted to do like music reviews and I couldn't figure out a way to do it. But then I listened to him review Guy's debut album, Guy. 25, I think it was like 25 years old or turning 25 or whatever. And he did such a great job. And that was my inspiration to do the episode that I did. And also he had me on his show to review one of my most favorite albums, Forever My Lady by Jodeci, of course. So 12 Kyle, again, thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for having such a dope show, and thank you for being one of those loyal listeners and one of those people that tweet through the episodes and just really gets everybody engaged. I can't appreciate you enough for that, and I look forward to having you on again and being on the 12 Kyle podcast again. Next, let me go. I gotta go back, and my bad for even skipping over this crazy guy. My guy, Twitty J from the infamous Drunk Unks podcast. I talk about Drunk Unks all the time. I love the Drunk Unks podcast. That's Uncle Rico, that's Twitty, Uncle Night Night, and Uncle Fax. And I came across their podcast accidentally. Was looking for the Drunk Love Confessions podcast with Tam and Nikki. Shout out to y'all. And came across Drunk Unks because clearly everybody is podcasting drunk. So I came across that and started listening to their podcast and just fell out laughing. Like, I mean, they are hilarious. Like, the Drunk Unks are hilarious, and I love their podcast. And then from there, I was able to tap into the Not Up for Debate podcast, which they're both based like in the same area. I think it's like Salem, New Jersey, or around the Salem, New Jersey area. And I was also able to tap into the Question Everything podcast with actually it's Uncle Fax from the Drunk Unks, and it's Uncle Cam and Uncle, I can't think of the other uncle's name right now. Sorry, I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, shout out to all those podcasts in the Salem, New Jersey area. I was able to go. I was invited to the studio, to the Drunk Unks studio. I pulled up just like I said I was gonna do, and I appreciate y'all. Like, Twitty, thank you for coming on the show. Hopefully I'll be able to get Uncle Night Night and Uncle Fax, or just get all three of y'all on the Lit Life podcast, in the near future. Hopefully it'll be, when y'all come down to Atlanta, because y'all supposed to be coming to Atlanta. I know, Big Rona did her thing and came through and acted a fool and stopped everybody's plans, but shout out to you. And I appreciate you, and thank you for all of the encouragement, and thank you for all of the help. Like, you've helped me out so much, sweetie. Like, I really do love y'all like family, and I appreciate y'all. Another person that I've had on the show twice, and it's always a pleasure being with this young lady, is Sedelic Sunflower. She doesn't have a podcast, but she has a she conducts her own business. She has her own business where she does spiritual readings and helps with things of that nature. She does like guided emails, like motivational type things. Sedelic Sunflower, she's my Aries sister. And I appreciate her. Like, I mean, if you guys ever get a chance to meet her, just being in her presence is awesome. Like, she just one of them people that's just super cool. And so I look forward to having Sedelic Sunflower back, and collaborating, and hopefully, girl, when outside open back, hopefully outside to be back open by the summer and we can hang out, kick it or whatever. But shout out to her. And let's see. My girl B from the What the 40 podcast, and actually right now the What the 40 podcast is on hold, and I'm gonna stay on hold. Hopefully, like I just said the other day, like, man, I really wish she would bring that podcast back. I know that she decided to step away from podcasting. Just a lot of things, just life, things going on at home, new job, all type of stuff was going on with her, but her podcast episodes are still up. So if you guys get a chance, please go check out the What the 40 podcast. And she was on episode 23, and it was No But Seriously What the 40. And we just basically talked about moving into that year, that 40th year. So thank you, girl, for coming on the show, and thank you for having such a dope show, even though, like, again, it's on pause right now, but I really appreciate you. And was that it? No. And the very last but not least, of course, that I had was on episode 32, Be Brutally Honest with Yourself. Your happiness depends on it. And that was with my good sis, another sorority sister of mine, another podcaster that I literally tripped over on Twitter, K Renee. And K Renee is like... the name of her podcast is Brutally Honest with K Renee, and she's another super dope podcaster. Like, I love the format of her podcast, and I know I tell people this all the time, but like, I really love the format of her podcast. She gets right to the point. I like the interactions that she has with her guests, and I really, really appreciate her for coming on the Lit Life podcast. Actually, I was the first person, this was the first podcast that she was a guest on. So that was pretty neat. And just her coming on and sharing some really personal life experiences. So hopefully you guys can tune in to that episode 32 and get to know K Renee. Like, she's super dope. So yeah, so far those are all of the guests that I've had on the Lit Life podcast. I feel like I feel so loved. I feel so full of love doing this whole podcast thing. And then I've been on, other people's shows, and it's just been really, really dope. I just recorded yesterday on J-Boog. Shout out to J-Boog, man. Like, y'all have to listen to Jay's Quick 3 podcast. The format of her podcast is like amazing. The delivery is amazing. She's coming with facts when it comes to whatever it is that she's talking about. And typically her episodes go, between 30-45 minutes, and it's just, it's a quick listen, but it's a very detailed listen, and that's what I like about, that's the one of the things that I like about her podcast. So I kind of was just binging them the other day because, they're 30 minutes long, so it's just press play and listen. But I appreciate J-Bug, and I can't wait to actually have her on my podcast. I think the episode that I'm on with her drops this Friday, drops the same day that this podcast drops. So when you guys hear this, after you hear this, make sure that you guys go and hit her up on whatever platform. I think I'll try to put all of this stuff. I'm gonna try really hard to put all this stuff in the show notes, y'all. I say that every weekend. Leave everybody's stuff out. Who else? Oh, and I was on real quick podcast that I've actually been featured on since I've started podcasting. Again, J-Bug, you'll hear that one on Friday. Last night, I also recorded live. I was on a live show with Mary Jane Maven out in California, which was pretty dope. We sat up and talked for 2 hours. 2 hours. So after I got off the live with her, I was up all night. Literally didn't lay down in my bed until 6 this morning. So I gotta not be doing that on work nights, but it was lit. It was a very good time. I'm glad I appreciate her having me on. I already said about 12 Cows podcast that I was on. I've been on the Drunk Unks a couple of times. I pulled up to their studio, and I've been on them, on their Facebook Live with them virtually. I was invited to be on I invited myself to Podcast Brothers because I knew I was going to be in the area, and they said, yep, pull up. So shout out to Flaw and Fresco. Those are two dope ass dudes. I had such a good time recording with them, and shout out to them again because they're the reasons why I stepped up my equipment, my audio recording equipment. So shout out to them. Who else? I've been on Shenanigans with Friends. I've been on All Tales. Is that it? Oh, I've been on Raw and Uncut with Akeem. That was a long time ago too. And you know what? Shout out to Darius. Shout out to Jims and Dro, because that's where my podcast journey started with Darius, before he just dropped off the face of the earth. He's back now, by the way. Hey Darius, hopefully I can get you here to back to my house again, and you can be on my show, and we could chop it up again. I was telling somebody yesterday that I'm gonna go back and listen to Jims and Dro because we had such a good time recording both of those episodes. So hopefully, all two of them. And you never know. I don't know. Maybe y'all will get another Jims and Dro episode. I don't know. Darius be wishy-washy. So that's that on that. But when it's all said and done, I can't say that that I'm upset with Darius or anything like that. I didn't really understand at first. I still don't really understand why we didn't continue on our podcast journey, but it's okay. I appreciate you for believing in me enough to for me to venture out and say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and start my own podcast, and if you come back for Jims and Dro, then we start back on Jims and Dro. So shout out to you. Shout out to PJ because I did not close the door. And so now PJ is in here trying to crawl up my leg and she's meowing extra loud. So if you hear her, shout out to PJ. Shout out to real quick also. I have so many shout outs that I want to give out, but I ain't really writing none of them down. Shout out to Raheem Devon. Like, I'm telling y'all right now, if I ever get this interview with Raheem Devon, like, nobody's ever going to hear the end of it. You don't hear the end of it, and I haven't even gotten the interview yet. So just know that you're, never going to hear the end of that. Shout out to my Sans. Shout out to Alexis. Like, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. I ain't about to get emotional. I am a little bit about to get emotional a little bit, but I'm gonna try to thug it out. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for believing in me. Like, she's another one that actually I can say Alexis really is the person that has helped me over the years to try to find my creative self. It's like she's the one that was like years ago was like, you need to start a YouTube, or have you been writing lately? Like, she's the one. I told y'all I've had several blogs, but some of them, or at least one of them, was because she was like, man, Sans, you're funny. Like, you need to go ahead and you need to keep that up. And I just never did. But I think podcasting is that part of me being able to be creative, and I feel like it's effective. So and I couldn't do it without the type of encouragement that she has given me. So shout out to my Sans Alexis. Like, I love you, bruh. Like, and she is like the one person that I told about the podcast when I decided to actually start the podcast. And because she was the one that, like, again, for many, many years prior to this, saw something in me and was the one that was like, you have something that you need to share with the world. Like, I don't really know how you gonna get it out there, but you need to get it out there. So anyway, I love you, bruh. Shout out to you. And I don't know. I mean, I could go on for days with gratitude, with thanks, with Shut the Fuck Up Awards. Shout out to Great Genius, another soror of mine. Shout out to you for my intro. Like, I love my intro. Everybody loves, like, I didn't know, you don't know what you're going to get. I went in one of the one times that I log on to Facebook, I was like, let me get on here and see if maybe, because I'm the type of person, I like to like promote from within, you know what I mean? Like, I like to go to people around me first for things that I need instead of going to just complete strangers. So even though her and I didn't know each other personally, again, that's my sorority sister, so I dropped it in a group like, hey, is there anybody in here, or do y'all know anybody, a family member or anything that, like, does any type of music, do they rap, do they sing, do they do whatever? And someone came back with her link, and she hit me up, sent me to her SoundCloud, and I was like, bet. She sings, she raps, I think she produced a little bit, she does a little spoken word, but she hooked up the Lit Life podcast intro, and I'm here for it, and I don't see myself ever really letting it go. I just don't see it. Like, I play it right before, I don't when I record these episodes, like, I don't record the episode and then add the thingy, the intro. I play the intro So if I have a guest on the show, I tell them like, hey, y'all, we got to listen to the intro first. I mean, it's just one of them things that just kind of get you hype and get you in the mood and get you ready to be on the Lit Life podcast. And I gave her my vision and she turned it into exactly what I felt like I wanted. You know, you don't know exactly what it is you want, but when you hear it, you know. And when I heard this, I knew that this is what it was. She do what she want to do. Like, it's just so fly. It's so dope. And I really, really appreciate you taking out the time to give me that intro. So anyways, I don't even know what I was saying before that. Aside from, I just, there's just so many people that I can say thank you to. I've literally smiled throughout this whole episode, and it still ended up being 45 minutes damn long, which I really didn't expect for it to be. But I guess when you have so many positive things to say and so much positive energy to put out there to people, I guess, you know, it's just one of them things that you could just go on and on and on. Also, real quick, shout out to everybody who has been participating in the Running for My Life challenges, and even when the challenges are not going on, they're still tagging me like, hey Autumn, I got these couple of miles in, or hey Autumn, I got this workout in, like what you want, sis, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that in my DMs, you know, that check on me. They may not tag me on Twitter, but they'll check on me in my DMs. Hey sis, how you doing? Shout out to y'all. Like, shout out to all of y'all that take the positive energy, you know, that accept the positive energy that I put out, and then y'all give it right back. Like, shout out to y'all. And to anybody that I missed, because I'm pretty positive that I've missed somebody. Pretty positive. Because that's what I do. Please charge it to my head and not my heart, because if you've been there for me, even if you really haven't been there for me, but shout out to everybody that listened to the podcast that I don't even know who's listening to it. Like, there's so many people that's listening, and I don't even have a clue who it is. So shout out to y'all. I believe a couple of like friends from college listen, and you know, again, like, I don't interact with them every day or all day or whatever, but I just appreciate y'all. I really, really appreciate y'all. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going on and on and on. When really, I just want to say thanks. So thank you again for tuning in to the Lit Life podcast. Thank you for making this like such a memorable year, and I cannot wait to see you guys and for you guys to see us on the live again. That's going to be Wednesday, May 6th at 9 p.m. Facebook Live, Twitter Live, Periscope. The video will also be uploaded to YouTube after it's done and over with. And I look forward to y'all hearing me again. Thank you. Peace.